This is Business Rockstars from the NASDAQ market site in Times Square. I'm Jeannie Yerman, and our guest is Drew Westervelt. He is the COO and founder of HEX Performance. Hi, nice to see you, Drew.
Thanks.
So, Drew, you were a longtime lacrosse player. You were known for that. You played professionally for almost a decade.
Yeah.
And then somehow you got into
laundry
detergent business. In fact, you just flew in from, what was it, Minneapolis?
Yep.
From Target.
That's right.
So we'll get into depth about the product in a little bit, but just briefly, like, how did that happen? What was the bridge there?
Well, I can guarantee you I never thought I'd make laundry detergent. Through playing lacrosse, playing on a number of different surfaces. In the indoor professional league, you play in NHL venues, so they roll turf out over the ice, and it's usually a pretty nasty surface to play on. So the original idea was to make that a healthy surface and to prevent MRSA in staff. So we really wanted to clean hard surfaces and synthetics. And a light bulb went off of turf is no different than where fabric is migrating from. This athleisure trend, from what we wear to the gym, is a plastic. So I had a challenge with my own gear, as you can imagine, with lacrosse pads and the apparel, and really took the learning from the commercial side of things and said, oh, here's an opportunity in laundry. And that was kind of a real interesting endeavor.
You know, we were talking a little bit before we started taping here, and you were telling me that it was a bit of a surprise that you got into this, a surprise that you became an entrepreneur. Yes, that was kind of...
Very much. I think, you know, in the professional league, it's part-time. It's not a means to make a living. So most guys work during the week and they play on the weekends. For me, I didn't love what I was doing. I found an interest in this kind of commercial cleaning space. I really thought that the technology and the chemistry we were working with was unique. And the more I got into it, there was more and more validation of this is different, this is unique, this is really a solution that doesn't exist. And when I started using it on my own gear and experimenting in the laundry, it was a real big light bulb went off of this is an unmet need. And maybe this laundry category really hasn't changed with what we're wearing now. And you know, the easiest way to put it is my stuff didn't smell good, and that's a issue with mildew and bacteria. So that's not what you want in your laundry or in your gear. And from an athlete's perspective, I felt like there was a real opportunity.
At that point, what did you do to kind of, you know, fortify yourself, and what kind of resources did you have to get into the entrepreneurial state of mind and equip yourself?
Well, I think as we got more into let's build this type of product, there was all kinds of scenarios where we would meet with chemical blenders or fragrance manufacturers. There was all these validation points of we were doing things very differently. We didn't know if that was good or bad. But the more we got into why we were doing it, we felt like the path we were on was logic, and there was a lot of misrepresentation of what clean is in the laundry category. So it was a lot of really trusting your gut and kind of saying this is right and this is a real solution, because I knew it worked. But the real validation was going to a retailer and really telling them your story and providing them with product, and them coming back to you and say, if this really does what it says it does, you're in the store. And that's how we really started getting retail distribution, was on the product efficacy. So that gave us a lot of validation. Then it became, how do you tell people about it?
Where have you identified some of the weaknesses, and you know, what are they, and what have you done about it?
So it's really interesting as laundry can be, right? So what we learned was people absolutely know this issue, right? If you said, hey, you go to spin class, is your apparel, you know, fresh? No, everyone knows there's something going on there. But no one blames. This is really interesting. What we found was we could get retail distribution, but no one knew their detergent was the issue. No one blamed saying, man, I need to go find a new detergent. What they say is, man, it must be my sweat, or it must be the fabric. So that was big learning of being like, people aren't looking for a solution, but they know there's a problem. And that was a really big challenge that we're overcoming. And it's how we engage with people, how we tell them about the product. Because if we use traditional means of advertising, no one knows why we're talking to them about laundry. So we have to be more experiential and engage people when they're willing to have a conversation about laundry, which isn't in all settings, right? So being really intelligent about what we're hearing, what we're learning, and when we can engage a user or consumer about thinking about a change.
So you sound very enthusiastic about the business, and I'm not getting the sense that you've had those moments where you're like, this is not going to work, and you just kind of want to throw the towel in. Certainly you had to have glimmers of that.
100 times a day.
Just 100?
Yeah, tons. Everyone has self-doubt, there's peaks and valleys with everything. I think for me, I have a lot of trust or faith in betting on myself, but there's a lot of validation along the way. Don't get me wrong, there's tons of valleys, and we deal with that daily. But I really do believe in what we do, and I think it's all about celebrating the little wins, because there's a lot more losses than wins, even though, you know, if you look at someone's social feed, it probably looks otherwise, right? Everything's perfect.
That's right, yeah.
But no, there's everyone goes through that, and it's not all perfect.
So what's that like little phrase or that little voice in your head that you repeat to yourself to get out of the moments of doubt, those hundreds of moments of doubt?
You know, there's so many things going on. There's so many ways you can take these things. If you look at, we went back to the game film thing, right? You could take all those negatives and all those things you need to fix as overwhelming, or you can say, I'm just going to get it done. I'm going to figure it out, and it's all going to get better. Because, you know, the thing we love about it, you know, you hate those meetings of exposing what's really happening, but the best part of that is what's on the other side of it. So I think that's why we're still here. I think that's why we're competing in a really old lethargic category that has opportunity in it.
So just kind of keeping that carrot out there for yourself all the time.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to take a quick break. This is Business Rockstars from the NASDAQ market site. I've been talking with Drew Westervelt, the COO of HEX Performance. We'll have more with him in just a minute. This is Business Rockstars from the NASDAQ market site. I'm Jeannie Yerman, and I am joined by Drew Westervelt. He is the COO and founder of HEX Performance. Welcome back. So you were a lacrosse player for a long time, professional lacrosse player, but then created this laundry detergent that addresses the stink in modern day clothing.
Sure.
A little bit accidental, sort of.
Definitely accidental.
But by the way, God bless that you've created this product. I do need to try it. How have you financed yourself over the company's 6.5 years old? Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the preliminary work was really R&D work of really figuring, because it started, like I told you, it started as commercial, then it moved to a consumer product. We really launched the product in April of 16 in a retail presence with predominantly in Target and Wegmans were our first two retail customers, and they've been extremely supportive and allowed us to learn our way through this.
Did you bootstrap, or was it venture capital? Or?
Yeah, we've raised 2 rounds of capital, but a lot of it was, for a long while, was bootstrapped until we really felt really comfortable about we were ready to really move forward with our belief. And at that point, you know, it takes a little bit of capital to get the retail space moving, and similarly with the e-commerce space. So yeah.
Let's talk about your early days of marketing. It was this sense of just frequency and social media, and you know, we'll just let everybody know about it and they'll love it, right?
Yeah, I think you kind of gotta read the data, right? We were spending dollars trying to change people's behavior on the brand, telling you what you need to believe and change. And what we realized is this category is very ritualistic, very habitual. And a lot of consumers weren't blaming their laundry detergent for the problem. They say it smells great when it's come out, so it's clean, because most people perceive fragrance with clean when it's not. Just because there's a fragrance on it doesn't mean what's inside is gone. Yeah. Which is a nasty thing to think about. So, you know, our original idea was to go tell people we exist, and through frequency they would change their behavior. Well, that doesn't happen. You know, consumers today want to hear what peers have to say, want real reviews, want real feedback, want to understand why you're here, what your product does, how it works. Not just tell me I need to change, I'm going to go listen to you because you say so. So that was, you know, one big challenge we learned of how to talk to people, and then how we need to talk to them, because what are they believing? Do they know their laundry detergent isn't working? Do they know their fabric has changed? And those were things that we had to learn our way through to make sure that we were you know, connecting with people.
So how does that manifest itself? Like I think I had read that you actually are out offering samples of the product, right? You're doing a lot of like in-person stuff, is that right?
I mean, most sampling's done through something you can try, like taste. Oh, I like that, I'm gonna go buy it, right? This is different. We are being very selective in when we interact with people, because even when we interact with people on a social channel like a Facebook or an Instagram, they don't understand why we're talking about laundry, right? They're thumbing through their page and saying, why are you trying to talk to me about laundry? Versus if we're in a spin class, a bar class, a community gym, a youth sporting event, a 5K, people are leaving that event feeling great because they were just active, they just sweat, and they know exactly what we're talking about. And it's a point where we can interact with them authentically. We know what we're talking about. All of our ambassadors are employees of ours. Mm-hmm. And we provide a free sample because then we know our product has to provide a great experience, or else we're all kidding ourselves. So if we can't provide you a great experience, a reason to believe, an understanding of why we exist, we believe we can do that really authentically through brand ambassadors. It's very atypical to the cleaning space, but we don't believe there's another brand in the space that can do it.
So you're going up against the big dogs with
Sure.
deep pockets, with the expensive slotting fees and all that in these stores. How do you approach that? You know, what's your mindset, and what's kind of your your strategy?
Just being really specific on who we want to speak to, who we think is an early adopter, who's going to have an affinity for a brand like HEX. If we come out and say we're the best, we believe we're the best laundry detergent, we wouldn't be here if we didn't. I mean, you can use us on everything, but we know that's not a realistic opportunity right now. So we're going after people who live active lifestyles, people who have kids that are active, people who have the ability to pay for $40 spin classes every day, because we know that they're investing in their fashion, we know they're investing in their wardrobe, and we know they want that to perform and last. Those are the people we're talking to, and they're going to figure out and be our community that are going to amplify that message, be that word of mouth. We need to be that community of people who believe in this. And I think it's really about providing a really great experience to the people who take their hard-earned money, pay for this product, and go home and have a great experience. That's the best advertising than any other advertising I can think of.
I've been speaking with Drew Westervelt. He's the COO and founder of HEX Performance. This is Business Rockstars from the NASDAQ market site.